A long time ago, before the Union Jack and afternoon tea, there were people in the British Isles. Those people had complex social groups, and overall, they had strong attachments to their groups. Now, let's fast forward to today. And those complex social groups have been reduced to generic cultures such as the Celts, Anglo-Saxons, and, in some instances, Anglo-Celts. But wait, these two wouldn't have considered themselves the same. But how can we know they're not the same? After all, they do come from a similar area. One way we can do this is by studying their burials. For the moment, we're going to focus on the Anglo-Saxons. What kinds of materials did they leave behind in their burials? Well, the Anglo-Saxons left behind a variety of things. They left brooches, ceramics, animal remains, weapons, jewelry, coins, personal care items, decorative items for clothing, and a lot of other things. Most items found tend to fall into two main categories: Roman and Anglo-Saxon. In the early medieval period, when the Anglo-Saxons lived in what is now considered England, the Romans had already left, but some of their materials stayed behind, especially in graves. Why, then, does it show up in Anglo-Saxon graves later on? There are two big ideas about this. First, that Anglo-Saxons had a romanticized view of Roman history, much like we do today. Using Roman objects could be a way to associate yourself with Roman history. The second big idea is quite a contradiction to the first. It suggests that Roman objects were used as cheap alternatives to Anglo-Saxon objects by people who didn't have as much money. The next big question to consider is, how do their burial practices vary? Anglo-Saxon burials use both cremation and inhumation, and both are fairly common. Cremations typically involve buried urns. As bones don't disintegrate during burning, they are typically placed inside an urn along with any ashes. The urn is typically accompanied by grave goods. Inhumations usually involve a variety of positions, and these can vary widely. By positions, I mean they can be on their back, on their side, laying on their stomach. There's a lot of variation within Anglo-Saxon burials. There are still a lot of questions to be answered. Is there any significance in the usage of both cremation and inhumation? How were the landscapes of cemeteries used to grieve and remember the dead? To what extent did Roman, indigenous, Christian, and Anglo-Saxon material influence the creation of a new identity entering into the medieval period? All of these questions are important in the current contentious climate surrounding British heritage and immigration in the United Kingdom. Who really were the Anglo-Saxons, and what do they mean for the United Kingdom today?